Well, hello everyone. Uh, Thank you for joining. You'll notice that we are starting promptly at 9 o'clock today. There are no audio issues. Not that the former guest had anything to do with that, but this one worked totally fine. If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is Realm Runners. Very excited to still be up and running. It wasn't a one and done. If you missed the first episode, it is now on Spotify. It's on the Willow Wraith YouTube channel. So make sure you go subscribe there and go back and double check and listen to it. I think it was a really fun start, and it's just going to keep getting better from here. You should really subscribe to the channel anyway, because Bill and Dewey have an amazing show that they do. They have Nick Betts coming on tomorrow night, who is a great author. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to keep up with Willow Wraith in general. We started doing, thanks to Alex, the Porridge Report, which is onion style sci-fi fantasy stuff. Two of those reports. I'm going to start saying it like Colbert. It's the Porridge Report. And both of those so far have been awesome, really funny, and it's a lot of fun to come up with, and those guys do a great job as well. I also want to give a shout out to my wife, Laura. Happy birthday in advance. It's tomorrow, so I'm going to do that for posterity, and when it's live tomorrow, it'll be happy birthday. I think she's listening. If you are, clap your hands, stomp your feet, and shout hooray. That was a test. She's on baby monitor duty. So I'm very happy to not hear anything, especially crying. In a nice pivot of genre, this episode is going to be focused on horror, and some amazing horror. I got to read this book early, and it was a lot of fun. I am a big horror guy. I like being scared. I'm a gigantic baby, but it's awesome. I love doing it, and this book, especially along the way, lots of twists and turns, lots of brutal, gory deaths, and I thought it was awesome. Everyone else seems to think it's awesome too, which really goes a long way. And if you don't trust me, which is completely reasonable, you can trust everybody else, and they wouldn't lead you astray. The book is called The Clatter Man, and my guest today is Janelle Schiecke, and I'm inviting her to the stage.
Hey, Pete.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Thanks
Doing
so much
much
for
better. Of course. I'm very excited. When I made that post about even getting this up and running, you were one of the first people to be like, whenever this is going, let me know and I'll hop on. And that's why it kind of worked out well. I got it up and running, and week 2, right after the Clatter Man released, which I'm going to throw up here. I realize I always forget to push these things. That cover.
Oh my God. So my husband found her. One of his former coworkers had published a book recently, and he used her. And I reached out to her and I told her about the story, the A-frame cabin, the hook. And I just gave her a basic outline, maybe 3 sentences, and she throws that back to me. And I was like, what?
That was
incredible.
Yeah, I was about to say killer, which is really kind of on the nose, because holy shit.
It's so incredible.
Yeah, I'm just so awesome.
Because the cover, as you know, I mean, you got to have a good cover. That's the first thing that readers see. So, it's important.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it looks amazing. My first lead-in question, I asked it to ZB last week. I'm going to ask it pretty much every time. Do you think going on a trip with all these kids and summoning the Clatter Man, do you survive this encounter?
Oh gosh. I mean, I would hope. I kind of look like Abby, so maybe I would hope I survive. I've watched so many horror movies that I think I might have the wherewithal to try to barter with them or try to work something out. Like, listen, I'll tell you where there's like a good party, a good ragey party going on.
See, that's good. You don't have to be the fastest person. You just can't be the slowest.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Yeah, it's like, we have a bunch of people in this house, but over there, like, they are over capacity. and just
He needs to go
kind
like
of
a
shift
dazed,
the focus.
yeah, like a dazed and confused party or something, like one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Just go to the moon tower. Go over there. But that's funny because one of the other things I wanted to ask you, like you said, you have a huge horror background. This is, I
Yeah.
think, your third book. I did purchase the other two when I saw them on sale the other day, so those are both on the docket, ready to go.
Awesome.
But how did you come up with such a unique character? In the world of not reruns, remakes, and Jason versus Mecha Godzilla and all of these things. The reading about the Clatter Man was fresh, and which is
Yeah.
just, it's hard.
No, thank you. And it's especially hard with horror. I just watched this movie called Hard Eyes, recently, and it was a great slasher, but it was, it was a lot of other slashers. So yeah, I mean, it all came about when I started writing his backstory, which was really fun to put together. And after I wrote it, I mean, you've read it, like it was I wanted him to have this kind of mystique, and it was really fun to write. And so after I wrote that, I'm like, okay, this guy needs a name. Okay, what the hell am I gonna name this guy? so I kind of went over his backstory, and I Googled lots of things to make sure I wasn't stealing something else. And then
Nice,
I
very
came up,
responsible.
right, very responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And the name works out because it's so unique that even when you Google, even when you search it on Amazon, it says Clatter Man book before I even finish it. So it's really great that, like, it's got this unique name. Um, and once I came up with that, I just when I released, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm so excited. I love this book. Everyone's like, wow, that's such a cool name. I'm like, oh, thank you. It really is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've read it, so you know why he's named that way. And that's another reason why I like that name, because it people, they're probably curious. They want to know, okay, why is this named the Clatter Man? So that was really fun to write. And I obviously didn't come up with the name until after I wrote his backstory. But it's I don't know. I just like it. It's such a unique kind of like mysterious name.
Yeah, absolutely. And the backstory was one of the coolest parts, I thought, of the book, because
Thank you.
you don't get to see that all the time. It's easier to do it in like a movie, the screen does the little shimmer, and
Yeah,
it's like, oh, now it's 1972, and Freddy isn't scarred, and you could do it. But kind
yeah.
of pulling that off in a book took a lot of talent, and it really tied the whole story together. It was awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really fun to write, and I wrote it in a way that, again, I've watched many horror movies, and I like when it's told that way, the way I tell it in the book. So that, and the character I used to tell it, because he's one of my favorite characters. So yeah, it was really fun to write.
One of the comments in there, I kind of agree with and kind of don't. I really like the creaking dude as far as maybe a spinoff.
Yeah,
Even Clatterman and Creaking Dude, they solve the mysteries of the people they kill.
I'm thinking like dude from like Big Lebowski. I don't know why I'm like, okay, he'd have to have some kind of like stumbling around, and I don't know. He was like scary, but he was kind of like chill. I don't know.
Well, he could put those what do they have on like a little clothespin and like a card, and on his little wheelchair he could be the clatter wheat chair or something like that.
That's true. That's a good idea.
um so yeah, I'm talking more about the characters' backstories and everything like that. Did you take any inspiration, not directly or anything, but the way we were talking about movies, Freddy, Jason, anything like that? Was there anything from any of those that you wanted to specifically avoid to kind of make him from being typecast?
Yeah, I wanted to, like, I liked, I mean, obviously I drew a lot from, those horror stories, but with his backstory, I did want to create it unique enough where he was separated from those guys, I love, I love how, I mean, Jason and Freddy and, Candyman, they all have these, cool backstories. And, so yeah, I mean, obviously he's the typical slasher type. Like when I told, he's featured on the back cover of the Clatterman. There's like a silhouette of him. My designer was like, "What is he? What silhouette?" I'm like, "Just think Jason. Think Jason Friday the 13th. That's like his silhouette."
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I kind of like, and the way he walks, and obviously he's got that slasher walk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am really proud of myself for kind of giving him this unique backstory. And it was so fun to write. And there's and as you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of elements involved, you know, with his backstory that also connect to other parts of the book.
Yes, and you know, one of the other parts that I liked was it wasn't the typical college kids going away and following the urban legend, because you know you see that so often, especially as the movies get remade and everything like that. And again, this was a cool turn on all of
Yeah.
that, and the way that he was there. I'm not giving any spoilers or anything because some of the kills are so ridiculous that I would feel bad if I spoiled them. But a couple of them like kind of stuck with me where I was like reading it and I had to like stop and I went back and reread it and I was like, that's fucking hardcore.
Oh yes, I love
Yeah,
it so much.
there's a couple of them in there where it was
I
like
take
that.
my time
Yeah,
describing them.
I was gonna. You could tell I was gonna say which kill across the spectrum, whether it's something you've written or just overall, do you think is one of those that stick with you? Because I know we were talking the other day on, well, publicly on Twitter,
Yeah,
we saw that Jaws
yeah.
reference, and it was about like how the people in Jaws can't hear the music, so it
Hmm.
wasn't as horrifying.
Hmm.
But did you have those scenes in mind when you were writing them? And it, like in my review, I even said I think it feels like a movie. And were you kind of experiencing that as you were writing it?
Oh, absolutely. I love to write. A lot of readers tell me that my books read like movies, and that's my goal. I want them to read like movies because I want them to be an experience, right? So I want you to feel, you know, I just want to use just the right adjectives and just the right sentences and not too long, not too short, and describe scenes so visually, you know. So that's really what I aim for. Uh, as far as my favorite kill, I think it's probably the very first one or the very last one. I like both. Oh, and then the one, I don't want to give it away, but
I know it's hard. Was there rope involved?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're thinking of the same one, and that was what I was. That's what
That
I
was
was
very
thinking.
cinematic when I wrote it. I felt, yeah.
It did. I pictured that one, and I was just like, "Fuck!" Like that, son. How does things go from so good to so bad that quickly? But it worked.
Awesome.
And apparently it worked very well. I'm popping this up here too.
Aw,
Number
yes,
one in American horror on Amazon right now.
crazy. And I'm a self-publisher. That's incredible. Like,
That's
wow.
crazy. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's so awesome. I mean, people have like, I don't. I'm just so happy because I feel like you know when I released Death Cult, I love Death Cult so much. It's so dear to me. All my books are so dear to me. But Death Cult, I mean, I love the Clatter Man cover. The Death Cult cover, you know, that was the first hardcore book I released. Ghost Room is very sweet and spooky, but Death Cult, I was like, bam, you know. And so people are kind of getting used to me. But with Clatter Man, now people are used to me. Okay, she writes horror, you know. So maybe you know that helps a little bit, but also the cover. I'm just yeah, I'm just blown away. I'm so happy, and and I love talking to my readers. I talk to my you know I talk to my readers all day on X,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so cool to be able to talk about your stories with readers and just kind of you know just discuss things and connect. It's really neat.
It's awesome. And, you know, you're very involved in it, which is great. And I love that, especially finding out, you know, more of the backstory and what made you go down the horror route. Because it's
Mhm.
like not super different from, you know, the sci-fi fan as far as falling in love with it. But was that a genre that from a how old were you, should I say, when that really clicked and it was like, this is what I'm going for right now?
So I started watching horror probably around like 6 years old. I started watching horror movies. You know, the first crazy one I watched was Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was when I was about 8. But I watched ones like The Gate and like stuff like that, you know, before Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, and The Gate was a horror movie, but it's Nightmare on Elm Street is like the first like legit horror movie. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember, you know, just and I had this in actually I wrote this in the afterword of Death Cult, but um, you know, I was I don't know where my parents were. It was like the 80s. You know, it was my brother was at a party. He had some friends over, and he was watching with his friends. And I was hiding behind the recliner in our living room. And he's like, Janelle, you can come out and look now. It's okay. And it was that scene where Johnny Depp was getting sucked into bed and there's all the blood. And I was like, oh my God, that terrified me. But I remember never feeling like I was so scared. And I was like, oh my God, like, but it was kind of exciting to have that adrenaline rush, you know? And I also, I don't know, I also connect with it because listen, I wasn't one of the super popular kids. Like I wasn't like, I don't know. I wasn't like into sports or anything. I was just kind of doing my thing on the side, you know? And I always like, I don't know, horror's kind of like about the underdogs too in a way, right? And it's about kind of experiencing like a really tough situation sometimes and getting out of it. So I kind of like, I like those aspects about it too.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, which I was also going to lead into, where I wanted to see what you thought of, if you thought writing horror and putting all this down on page was kind of a form of therapy or anything like that. I know that people like Stephen King in Pet Sematary, which you're a parent. We just talked. You have a 13-year-old. We have a 22-month-old. But Stephen King did Pet Sematary, and the whole way that popped in his head was he lived on a busy road and was like, my kid's gonna die. And at this point, luckily our neighbors are good, or I'd be throwing down spike strips if I had any of that stuff going on. They're relatively good. But I haven't read Death Cult yet, but have you written anything where it was kind of more personal for you and it came out that way?
Yeah, so with Death Cult, my parents both passed away the first year of the pandemic, which was
sorry to hear.
Hard. No, thank you. Yeah, it was extremely hard, and they didn't pass away from COVID. It was from other issues, but it just broke my heart broke in half in pieces. Within months, they passed away within like 6 months of each other. So. And I was, first I was sad, the grief has so many stages. And then I was so mad, And when I wrote Death Cult, I was like, I'm just going to channel all my anger into this book. And it felt so good because that book is crazy. I mean, that's like it's like when you read it, it's like really gory.
It's hardcore.
It's hardcore. But it felt so good because I was so mad, And so yeah, that was definitely therapeutic for me. And I also had a lot of fun writing that book. But in Clatter Man, like, there are parents, one of the characters does have, a parent who's passed away. So that was like part of me. And you read the afterwards. So I put a lot of personal details into that too.
And I'm popping up the Death Cult cover.
Yeah.
We're talking hardcore. That's as hardcore as it gets, I think.
I love that cover.
Yeah. That's like one of the cooler covers I think I've ever seen. I mean, even Clatter Man, I think you may be tied. There's a couple where it's almost like an insta buy, and you have two of them. So
thank you.
Yeah, that is craziness.
I love it so much. I was like, I'm just gonna go all out. I'm gonna go crazy.
And it worked.
And it works.
I remember you saying too that the red on the face was supposed to originally be black, but I think the red that pops. That makes it look very sick.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I was talking with my designer again, and my designer has sent it to me, and it was black, and we both looked at it, and he's like, I don't know, it looks fine, but it doesn't, and so we changed it to red, and I had to change a few parts of the story when we did change it to red to match, but it was worth it.
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I love that. I told him I want like a grindhouse kind of like old school 80s horror vibe. And he just nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely did. The 80s vibe is definitely, it's funny with horror because that, I'm a 89 baby, so I technically am an 80s child. But that's those are like some of the movies that I first started watching, and that cover popped in instantly. Like I remember, I'm the oldest of 3 kids, and I think my youngest brother, I have to send you his stuff. He wrote a horror screenplay, which won like some little indie awards in like the screenplay area of things. But I think we warped him beyond redemption, showing him those horror movies. And I think we watched Terminator 2 when he was like 4.
Oh my gosh.
Liquid Metal Man nightmares, like all that type of stuff. And he came out of it okay. Like I said, I am a baby with
Uh-huh.
this type of stuff, but I love it. And do
Yeah.
you, when you're writing it or you're watching anything like that, do you like being scared or do you really prefer being the scarer?
I love being scared. I love it. I love it so much. I just, not many movies scare me anymore, but I'm trying to think of the last movie that scared me. Um, I don't know. I don't get scared that often. I mean, her Hereditary scared me. That was a very scary movie.
Hereditary was one of the
Yeah.
first movies in a long time where at one scene, I'm not spoiling anything, but everyone knows was a jump off the couch. Like it was like watching Ned Stark get his head cut off. You're just like,
Oh yeah.
that
Oh my
didn't
god. Yeah.
fucking happen. Like, no way. And
No one was expecting that at all. It was so yeah. It was crazy. Um, but I really do like, and I like feeling uncomfortable. I love feeling
yeah.
uncomfortable. There's a movie I watched. Oh God, I should know the name of it. The Sadness. I mean, it is a crazy.
Oh, is
I
that
would
like a Korean movie
yes.
or somewhere? And the stuff with the eyes, right?
Yeah, there's some of the eyes. I don't recommend that movie lightly. So I wouldn't say any that's for it's very disturbing.
I
But that
watched that with
movie,
that other brother, and that was really. You guys should really just be talking, and I'll be on the side going, "Oh, no,
yeah,
wow, the sadness." I thought we watched that during the pandemic, and yeah, that was brutal.
it took me 3 sittings to finish that. That's how brutal it was for me. Like I don't know about you, but I couldn't watch it all at once. It was so disturbing.
That was intense. Which actually, Dewey popped in, and hello, Dewey. Great question here, but do you prefer psychological horror or gross out?
I like both, but I really okay, so I'm a big fan of practical effects. I love practical effects. So I really do kind of like gross out horror. I like a combination, but I love seeing like Saw. Saw is one of my favorite horror movies ever. And just what they put into making everything, I think is just incredible. I love it. I'm more into that. Yeah, I'm more into like the gross out stuff.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There's a lot of crazy stuff on there, but yeah, when they could pull it off, it's like otherworldly. What was I think you told me about it as well, the Demi Moore movie that
Oh
just
my
came out?
gosh, The Substance.
The Substance, that's right.
It's all practical effects. It's incredible. It's so good. I just can't believe how much time they spent into making it, and it was just so well done. And I forgot what movie company was going to release. It was a big company that was going to release it, Universal or something, and they didn't like the ending. They said it wasn't mainstream enough. And so, right. So the director's like, you
Right.
know what? Screw you guys. I'm just, and someone else bought the rights. I think it was Moby or Mobu, something like that. They bought the rights and the movie did incredible. And so Universal lost out on that one.
Bummer, which is weird because Universal had like a relatively good record with horror at some point.
Yeah, I think it was Universal. I don't want to say. I think it was them. It could, but yeah, it's a shame that a lot of movies are so watered down for the mainstream because who wants that? It just
Yeah, totally. And it's funny that studios try to step in. I'm sure the same way that traditional publishers may try to step in, where if something's written and it doesn't appeal to the masses, it's like, I know that the ending of Seven, when that was filmed, the studio was like, no, like this isn't
oh,
gonna
really?
work. And
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
now like you think and look at Seven, and you're like, imagine telling David Fincher to change that. Like,
It's incredible. It's one of the most
he,
incredible endings.
yeah, exactly. And it's just that type of thing. But
Hmm.
as far as the gore goes, I know we mentioned that you had a 13-year-old. Does he read your stuff, or is this too gnarly? And it's just like
So
we'll put this on hold for a little bit.
he could read Death Call because he's watched Cabin in the Woods. He's watched a few other movies. He's not as into horror. Clatter he can't read because that
Not yet.
it's kind of a spicy scene in there. But he could read Death Call. He hasn't read Death Call yet. But he will at some point. Uh, and he's interested. It's really cute. He's actually writing. He's writing a book now. He's writing like he's into like more like he was really into Elden Ring. He loves Elden Ring, so he's
Oh,
kind of writing a
nice.
story kind of about that, and I love it so much. It's really sweet to see him kind of, he's got such an amazing imagination. It's fun to see him write. He's like, Mom, this was gonna be longer than your book. I'm like, go do it, like
Yeah, keep pushing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
really
gonna say,
cool.
with being a parent, and I know you said you have a husband and everything. How do
Mhm.
you? One of like the biggest things that I am very amateur. I write like one page at a time, and I'm like, I pivot and do something else. So I think I'm pre-amateur. But how do
Yeah.
you make sure to stay on track and keep releasing stuff like this? Because I don't think Death Cult was that long ago, and
No.
was
Yeah,
that
you're
last
right.
year?
Yeah, Death Cult was last year. So yeah, I wrote Clatter Man. I started writing it as I was finishing Death Cult. It was funny because I just had this, a muse. A lot of authors just say they have this muse, and this muse is like urban legend, cabin horror, slasher. Just and it wouldn't leave my head. It just, and so I was like, okay, I can do something with this. So that's when I started Clatter. And then I have a novel I actually wrote a couple of years ago. It's like a horror fantasy romance, but it's nowhere near being done. But I am working on that. And then I have some short stories I want to release hopefully next year. I have a collection of short stories, short horror
Oh,
stories.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to do like a Death Cult one and maybe a Clatterman one. I have a spider one. I have like some other things. I started the spider one last week, and that one's really, really fun because everyone.
If you start laughing saying the spider one is fun, it's
It's
not good.
disgusting. It's so good. It's so disgusting. And I told my husband about the idea, and he was like, "Ugh, it's so great though."
I was
Um,
good. That's got to be the reaction you're hoping for when you say something, and
oh yeah,
that's it. That's how you know you hit a home run.
oh yeah. And we know of what the cover is going to be, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be really gross and disgusting and great. so, but yeah, I've never written shorts. I write novellas, and I don't write novellas on purpose. I honestly just get to the point where I'm like, okay, the story's done. I'm at so and so words. I also don't, I have a hard time writing a very lengthy story because I don't want to say that, novels have, what do they call them? Like, fluff stuff, like fluff and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
like filler. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like writing a lot of filler. And obviously, majority of most novels don't have filler, but some do. And, I just kind of like sticking to like the meat of the story, so to speak.
No, that makes sense because even the Clatterman was like breakneck pace,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it was just
good.
like, yeah, there was not any time where it was like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen next. Before that sentence is done, someone's getting wrecked, and which was awesome. Like, that was like when I said it was like a movie, that was exactly what I want. Like, especially, some horror movies are like 90 minutes in, out, and you leave and are just
Right.
like, I don't think I breathed for the last hour and a half. And that was what it was like reading this.
I love that so much, and that's another reason why this is my thing. This is my I just my I do love to write books like movies, and so I do like my books to be maybe hour and a half, 2 hours tops read, and then you're done.
Mhm.
I'm a very slow reader, so I have a hard time finishing novels. It just takes me a long time. If it's a novella, sure, I'll finish it in like not that long. But I also am I like writing fast paced stories. So yeah, that also I guess that works too.
Oh, definitely worked.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what fictional world, as far as all of this, whether it's the psychological horror, the gross out, anything like that, which of those would you really not want to experience? Which is but Hereditary is like real world. You can't be like, I don't want to live that, because it kind
Yeah.
of is. But which of those is, I'm good? Like, like this is just too shady for me. I can't do it.
Like for a horror movie?
For a horror movie, a horror book, anything.
Oh gosh. Well, Pet
Actually, or
Cemetery.
both. Sorry to interrupt. one of each. We'll go one
Oh
of
yeah,
each.
okay. So Saw is definitely just horrifying. I mean, Jigsaw, I know he kills people who have done bad deeds, but I don't remember any of them like killing people per se. Like maybe they didn't do their taxes. I don't know. Like it wasn't like, well, one of them had like what was it? Like greed or something, but I was like, oh crap, like I don't know. But yeah, that would be kind of horrifying to live in a world with Jigsaw. That would be really because I'd be like, oh crap, like I gotta like, buy someone a coffee or just do this
I was
good
gonna
community
say it
thing.
almost makes you be a nicer person all around, which is kind of weird.
It is kind of weird, right? Or Jigsaw's gonna get you, yeah. So, yeah, that would be kind of. I'd be like walking on, eggshells. Um, as far as a book, Pet Cemetery would be. That's my favorite King book. It is very dark, but I would find that horrifying to live in because, you know, people would eventually bury people there. I mean, it would just happen. So it's just terrifying. And also that epilogue, I love the epilogue so much in Pet Cemetery. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my very favorites. So yeah, that would be the book version of where I would not want to live in
I
that.
feel like it's the same. I was gonna say The Stand at first, but it's almost like
Oh
we
yeah.
lived that 4 years ago and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
made it out at the nick of time. But yeah, Pet Cemetery is just brutal. It is
Mhm.
highly unpleasant.
It is. It's also so well written though. I mean, gosh, he writes that so I love his older stuff more than his newer stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of feel the same. I feel like most people almost feel the same, but like Doctor
Mhm.
Sleep was awesome, but
Oh yeah.
you know, he's still Stephen King, which is just insane. But
I know. It's
yeah,
crazy.
movie wise for me is the remake of Dawn of the Dead because
Oh, was that the Fast Zombies?
it was the Fast
Oh god.
Zombies.
See, zombies I don't find that scary. But if they're fast zombies, like no.
Well, that's the thing. They're not that scared. Like if you're a slow zombie, I'm good. Like
Yeah,
you're just,
totally good.
you live in what was it, Jersey. I'm in
Mhm,
Long Island. We deal
mhm.
with slow zombies in New York City all the time. You
Yeah.
just have to like start maneuvering around them. I'm not going to get bit. It's when they run where it's just you're in trouble, and it's
Yeah.
like one is John Haggerty comment and remake is fire.
Oh yeah.
That's the one we're
It's so
talking
good.
about.
So good.
uh I saw that in theaters with my grandpa when I was like 13, and
Mhm.
he used to go to movies with me like once every couple weeks, and we saw that, and I went in with a full large popcorn, a Coke, and a thing of snow caps, and
Oh, I love
I
snowcats.
thank God no one else loves snow caps,
I
thank
love
God.
'em.
And I left the theater with a full large popcorn and unopened snow caps, and my straw wasn't even popped open. I didn't even take a sip of the Coke.
Yeah.
That horrified me.
It was so yeah, me too. And like I said, they usually don't scare me, but that movie was so scary.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
really got me. And I see,
god.
I think
I
this is
love
Bill
Train to
popping.
Busan.
Yes. And I will agree with him on this one. Train to Busan, even scarier. Um,
Oh my
th-
god, I blubbered like a baby in that movie. I cried so hard. But it
which
is
is like,
so scary.
yeah, it was scared, but you're right because the ending of that and just the whole, they did such an amazing job of having those subplots follow along with the actual
Mhm.
story, and you're deeply invested.
Oh
Like
yeah.
by the time that ended, that almost like is one of those types of movies where you're like, I want a sequel because it
Yeah.
was done so well. But on the flip side, I think they actually made a sequel, and I
They
don't know
made
anyone.
one. I
They
heard
did,
it's
right?
yeah, I've heard it's like not as good.
This reaction, like we both have, is kind of why you don't want the sequel to the movie. The zombie movie that makes you cry maybe could just stand alone on its own a little bit.
Yeah, right. Because that really doesn't happen with zombie movies.
No, but one of the other movies that's coming out, I'm assuming you saw 28 Weeks and 28 Days Later,
Yeah,
and you pumped for 28 Years?
I am. I'm really excited. It looks so good. Really horror. Like it looks amazing. I'm so psyched for that one.
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be really, really cool. I'm pumped.
yeah.
Um, what, well, again, we're talking sequels, we're talking zombie movie. No, this zombie movie. No, what do you think, book wise, is one of the more unique and original stories you've read recently? I mentioned how the Clatter Man, completely unique spin on urban legend. What other book would you recommend where it was like, this is really fresh?
Oh gosh. I'm trying to think, like, I've read so many books. One of the books I read last year, which I really loved, was Dave Buzan's In the Lair of Legends. That was a really good book. It takes place in, like, I think it's like World War II time. It's a war hero. It's so well done. He did so much research for that book, and I really liked all the different factors he put into the story. So I really enjoyed that one.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
because he posts some great stuff on there, which I think
Oh,
he
Dave's
posted
great.
that Jaws one that we commented
Yeah,
on.
he's a big
So
war fan.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna have to check that out because that sounds awesome. I was a
It's
history
incredible.
major, which he sounds like he put a lot more effort into it. I went for history because it doesn't change. Like you have to
Yeah,
remember one thing once. It's kind of
yeah,
like this is a little bit of a joke,
yeah.
but it worked out. But
Yeah.
one so besides his book, I know that recently you guys, well, you and a collective of other people.
Oh, yes, I'm in Dark Veil Society, which is
Yes. So tell me
very
about that a little bit because I know some people in there too. Like you mentioned Molly before. I know she's all up in there.
yep.
Um, Give me a little bit behind the scenes on that. There's some really cool people in there. I know I've read Eamon's book.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
can't
have
believe.
Molly's, but yours go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mally's book is another book that I thought it was so well done. Just, the way she kinda intertwined, the romance and the zombies, and I really enjoyed that one. That's another one of my favorite books, from last year. Um, uh, yeah, so it's just we have, there's so many members, and, it's really a great community. We just kind of help each other out. We kind of talk shop. We kind of, just talk about ideas. And, we're also passionate about horror. So it's really fun to just kind of, just get together and just brainstorm and just
Mhm.
support each other. And I love it. It's really great. It's a very friendly, like, I would even say loving atmosphere.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny that like the loving atmosphere is the vibe in it, and I'm sure there's got to be something behind the scenes where it's just, I bet I could one up you with this fucking kill right now.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun because, like, yeah, I mean, it's a healthy competition, right? Yeah. So
Exactly. So
yeah, it is.
yeah, if you start getting the gross out emojis, you hit and keep going
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. Yeah, no, it's great. It's really, I love being in there with them. They're all really great people. There's Eamon, there's Molly. I don't want to leave anyone out, but there's so many other people. Um and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great releases this year. I know Eamon's releasing The Veil this June. SS Fitzgerald has Alone Together. He's releasing
Mhm.
that in June. Uh, so yeah, yeah. And I'm actually reading SS Fitzgerald's book, A Fold to Extinction, right now, and I'm really enjoying that one. It's kind of like Jurassic Park, but with more horror.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
so it's
that
really
sounds awesome.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of releases. I know Steve Stark, I think he's gonna release something this year. Nick Horvath, he's gonna have a Sledge sequel.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really good stuff.
Sledge is very high on my list to read.
Ah,
That's
you gotta read Sledge. It's so great. It's really great. It's
Yeah,
such
it definitely looked awesome. That's another cover where it's like, how do you not pick this one up?
right? Oh yeah, it's such a great cover.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool that especially the Clatterman and other horror stories like it's not just trying to one up other stories, but there was a lot of background into the characters before they made it to that point where shit hit the fan, especially for such a, like you said, you want this to be like a 2-3 hour read.
Mhm.
And when you're reading that, when I'm reading that, you can picture the characters and their relationships that they had prior to even going on the trip.
Yeah.
So how do you try to condense that type of character building for a backstory into something you're trying to really hammer, like, and get running right away, because I thought you did a great job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I like to write character driven stories, and so I like everything to unfold. A lot of the story unfolds through their dialogue, and so I like their dialogue to be the building point for the story and for their personalities and their relationships. So I kind of in the beginning you see Abby and her friend, and I kind of use the first chapter to kind of so the reader has an idea of how their relationship is, but I kind of yeah, I don't know, I mean it's something I'm honored to have readers tell me that I write really good dialogue and they love the way the character, because they act real realistic,
Yes.
which just comes easy to me, which is crazy. It just I I'm a late, I'm aging myself. I'm a late 70s baby. So, but so the 80s were my decade, right? And the 90s, I was a teenager in the 90s. So, um, the 90s I know really well. So that also helped me write the dialogue, because, if you read this book not knowing it's in the 90s, you'd be like, wait a minute, like this doesn't make sense today, I
Hmm.
think, I don't know. I mean, the way they talk, I use some words from the 90s. I kind of threw them in there. But yeah, I guess I kind of I like to choose characters that have a fun dynamic, and that kind of work off of each other to kind of create suspense, and to question, what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, in Death Cult, I have Eddie and Jason, who are the two main characters, and you kind of see them, you know, going through this on this road trip, and things kind of unfold the same for them, through their dialogue and stuff. But yeah, it's easy for me, and it's honestly my favorite part of writing a story is the dialogue, because I love to develop those personalities, and I just like to write fun dialogue, um, and I love to write body language too, because that's so important.
Yeah.
You have to imagine someone. You can't just say, "Oh, he looked concerned." No, you have to say like, "Okay, what on his face made him look concerned? What was his body language?" Because then you're more into it. You're more invested.
Yeah, for sure. And that, like you said, you're a teenager in the 90s. This was a perfect mix of taking like an updated group of people, and that felt like going back into an 80s story a little bit, where they made it to, the vacation house, and it felt like going back in time, but also the characters were written in, today's day and age.
Mhm.
So that was really cool, and I really enjoyed it's such an underrated aspect, but the humor in it as
Oh,
well.
good. I'm glad. I love putting humor in my stories. I'm glad you
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
that hits the hardest with me, because I think, not that being naturally funny is the hardest thing to do, because everyone will say, no, this is the hardest to know this. But
Mhm.
when you make it seem effortless in storytelling, it's like, it to me, that shows like a real talent that a lot of other people can't do. So I just wanted to give you props on that. You read so many stories now, and you just like read something and you're like, that bombed. Like,
Yeah.
like that's an audible boo from me. But like you said, it's realistic dialogue, and it really like drove the point across home. I thought you did a great job with it. I was connecting with all of them, and like I said, it's especially hard to do in a book that is a couple hundred pages. You're not writing 1,000-page tome and
Yeah.
being like, here's 500 pages of backstory on why they have this dynamic. And so
Yeah.
if you can do that quick and make it hit, home run. And yeah, you crushed it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I loved it. And again, like Dustin's one of my favorite characters because he's really funny.
Yeah, which was great. I kind of identified most with Dustin, but we'll let
Yeah.
the reader see why that might be the case. What John said here is exactly right. There's a
Oh
fine line
yeah.
between believable and fun,
It's
and
very true.
yeah, and you towed it perfectly. There wasn't any point where I was like, this wouldn't happen. Like, I don't think so. Like, I'm not buying, and especially for a urban legend horror story.
Yeah.
Think of all the B stories and the B movie and all this
Yeah.
stuff where you're watching it and you're just like, stupid, and didn't happen. So
Yeah.
I I can't recommend this enough. I loved it.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I loved writing. I'm so happy to hear you say that because everything you love about it is what I loved writing about it. I want people to connect with the characters. I just want people to have a good time. I just want them to laugh. I want them to be scared, and again, the characters, I always I don't know, I feel like, I use a lot of I like to use ellipses a lot in dialogue because when I write dialogue, people pause a lot, so I feel that's what helps me kind of write it more real because if you're saying something, a lot of times you'll pause and just finish your sentence or, whatever. but yeah, that's what I really do like to use those in dialogue to make it sound more realistic.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were going to ask, this is like kind of an argument that's coming up and down on X, on Twitter, on everything. I saw that you may have been converted. Are we an official Sleep Token fan now? I'm gonna have to ask
I,
everyone this because
I do like their music. I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore fan, but I do appreciate their music. I really enjoy it. It's very atmospheric. Some of their songs are really very touching. Like they're really emotional. I really like the music. Some of their songs are just a lot of screaming, which I'm like, okay, I could listen to this when I'm like, working out or something. But they remind me a lot of a band named Him. I don't know if you remember Him's a goth band, like Bam Margera was really into Him back in the day.
yes,
They remind me a lot of Him, which is really cool because I loved Him. Yeah, I really like that. I'm looking forward to listening to more of them.
I see Shane is stoked.
No, it's very atmospheric and it's very sad. A lot of their songs are really sad.
I don't do sad. I don't like sad. I like being happy. I'm gonna
Yeah.
listen to like a 32-minute China Cat Sunflower from the Grateful Dead and just be like, oh, this is I'm enjoying this. I don't do sad. Laura, my wife, loves, that emo stuff.
Yeah.
Like all those things. And like we'll play it in the car. And I'm like, what happened? Like this is so depressing. Everyone screams it and has a great time. And then I don't know. I need to start, I guess, getting a little more depressed. Everyone seems to be having fun and there's great music that I'm missing out on.
No, I'm the same though. I'm a very happy person. I'm always looking on the bright side, glasses half full. But yeah, sometimes you do need a good cry. And I'm gonna segue for a second into this and we'll come back. But Thunderbolts, by the way. I just watched
the movie. How was it?
It was amazing. I cried so much in that movie. It was really well done. And I had a really good cry. You want a good cry.
Again, which is crazy. We're like, we're talking about Marvel movies having the good cry. And it's like, all right, so as long as like the writing hits, it's good to go. And
it's so funny you say that because the script was incredible. It was an incredible script. And that's people are talking about that. It's a hot topic, like how good the script was, because you could have the best actor in the world, but the script sucks. Then what are you gonna do? But it was a really, really sharp, funny script, and it was really well done.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm gonna have to check that out.
Good.
Laura checking in. I didn't choose the emo life. The emo life chose me.
I love it.
I chose you, so smile. Pick something better. Let's put on Miss Rachel or something.
I do love My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance is fire. See, I like that. Feel like Shane Vessel will make you cry over exes you never had.
Oh, okay. I have to listen to that one.
Emotional stuff. Yeah. I was going to say, do you think you writers are connecting with it? Because they have a backstory. Like there is some deep lore, and my lore, I listen to Ailstorm, and they're pretty much like, we are pirates, and we're going to sing about being pirates. That's like my metal. And you guys are listening to like deep, atmospheric, crying over exes. I'm not saying you're doing that. Shane, we could talk about that another time. I'm here whenever you need. You can always reach out to me. But do you think that, again, not a joke question, but that's like kind of intriguing. I don't know the backstory of him. I don't know that type of stuff, but it is very cool that a lot of the musicians now have full-on lore. Like if you go into one of the Wikipedia pages or anything like that, you can get lost down there. So from like a storytelling aspect, I don't want to say I just got converted to Sleep Token as I'm talking, but I think I may have. I think
Well,
in theory, I think I love them.
you know what I love about them too is their artwork. They have very Elden Ring-ish artwork, and I love their artwork. I was very impressed. So I do like that about them too. It's really cool.
All right, so I'll mark you down as a plus column right now, and
Okay.
we'll let it slide. Well, ZB will let it slide. He's still anti. We'll work on them.
I love seeing him and Shane on X. Like they were going back and forth right before this interview. I saw like them talking about it. It was really funny.
Yeah, duking it out. We're gonna have to have him on one day. You're more than welcome to join as well, and we'll shrink our little squares to the bottom left and right, and just let them go for an hour.
And just kind of
Mm-hmm. That maybe we charge like $2 a head to get onto the stream on that one.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So yeah, before coming to an end, I wanted to just see what do you have coming up next? I don't know if that is kind of like a cliche thing because the Clatter Man just released.
Yeah.
It's fucking crushing.
Thank you.
Are you trying to ride that momentum of not just the positivity of word of mouth and everything like that, but just the creativity that you had getting all this out? You said when you were writing Death Cult, you started the Clatter Man. Is there something besides the short stories, which I'm stoked for, but is there another, novella coming out anytime soon?
So a novella, I'm not sure. The short stories I would like to get out next year. And then I think I'm going to try this. It's almost a novel I wrote. It's like what? It's like almost 50,000 words, which is still not. I don't even know if that's still novel length, but yeah, I have a lot of different. I have like an asylum whip, like a haunted asylum whip. I have a lot of different stuff going on, but yeah. So I think I'm going to try to work on that novella / novel. We'll see where it ends. It ends up. But next year I would like to get short stories out. I have this like badass Death Cult short story. It's just all gore. It's just crazy. It's just super fun. So I want to include that in the short stories. And I have a really fun idea of the Clatter Man one too, which should take place like almost present day.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I want to kind of like, because I have, so many of my readers, oh, you're going to do sequels. And, and they want, one of my readers, I love that. She's like, okay, I want to see more creative Clatter Man deaths. And I'm like, I got you.
I agree with her, whoever that is.
Oh, she's incredible. Yeah. Yeah. But I was like, okay. So I'm kind of researching like, where it's going to take place and what things would be laying around that would be good for
love that.
So yeah, so I guess the short stories and then that possible novel. I have a few whips laying around, but yeah, but I like to release something like once a year, only because like we do so much as a my family and I were all so close, and once I'm done on marketing during the day and everything, we'll hang out, we'll do whatever, take a walk, whatever. But yeah, also like I don't like to pressure myself too much, because it would someone asked, oh, are you gonna release something at the end of the year? I'm like, no, that's just I can't do that, because then the story wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good enough for me, which means it wouldn't be good enough for you. So
yeah, that's a nice way. You don't want to rush yourself and make it not fun, because this story that I just read was fun. So I would, my advice to an actual author, which is just fucking bizarre, just it feels so corny to even say. I was gonna say just keep having fun, because this ruled to read.
Thank you so much. And that is not corny at all, because I only write stuff that I enjoy, that I myself enjoy, knowing that, again, that you're going to enjoy it. Because if I enjoy what I'm writing, I'm having fun, it's going to come across on the page. Yes. If I'm pushing myself to do something I don't want to do, no, it's not going to work.
Well, keep following that, because this was great. And I'm definitely looking forward to whatever comes out next.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just before signing off, I really need to work on my endings. I am Stephen Kingish when it comes to endings. We peter off into nothing. But tell people where they could find you, social media, Amazon, where they can buy your stuff, because everyone should. So
Thank
hit
you.
us with your socials. Let us know.
So I'm on Twitter X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads. And then my website is janelleschiecke.com. So you can buy my books. There's a link to my books on my website. You can also find them on Amazon. I also have a Ko-Fi page, which is on my website, where you can buy signed copies as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this was awesome. Again, you were one of the first people when I announced this to be like, sign me up whenever. And I'm really glad that you did that, and that, not that you followed through, because I had no doubt, but just that it was able to happen so quickly. And especially that I was hopefully able in my own way to help with the, getting the word out there about some awesome horror that's coming out. And I loved it, and I would encourage anyone to go out and get it. I have. So, that's, I'm going to keep plugging away, because this, your work deserves to be read and,
Thank
you
you.
know, loved. So, yeah, thank you very much for agreeing to come. And I hope you had a great time.
I had an awesome time. It flew by. It honestly flew by. I'm like, oh no, it's done. It flew by so fast, but I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. And yeah, this is where my Stephen Kingish comes out. I don't know how to pull the plug.
I'm
ZB
bad
told
with
a
it too.
terrible joke last time, so I won't make you do that. I'm going to edit in his joke so it looks like it ended that way. But
Yeah.
just thank you again. And I look forward to everything else coming out.
Thank you. It
All
was
right.
great talking to you.
Yeah, we'll be talking again soon. And
Yep.
everyone else, go buy her stuff immediately.
Thank you.
It was nice talking to you. Have a good rest of your night.
You too. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, chat.